Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Marvel Legends Corsair, or Starjammer Corsair. I didn't know, is there another one? Not even joking. Why does it say Starjammer in front of his name? Is that a thing? Is that his name? I didn't know about? Anyway, I've wanted more Starjammer figures, the group Starjammers, and so I'm glad that this one got made. It is part of the Chode Build-A-Figure wave. This guy, where is he? There you go, another one of my favorite characters, so I'm very happy. We're starting to get some things I want. Are they doing a good job? Well, we'll get to Chode later on, not in this review, in a different one. And this guy, he actually does some things really nicely. Some things that stand out a lot for Marvel Legends. Very good stuff. And then some things that Marvel Legends tend to always do wrong, he's done those as well. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 6.5 inches, not counting his hair flips. That's going to make him about 16.5 centimeters. Here he is up against everyone's favorite creepy uncle, Darwin. They're about the... Why does it always get so intimate when I do a height comparison? They're about the same height, not counting the hair. Alright, Darwin, get out of here. So this guy, let's do a question of the day first. Are you guys liking characters like this that are a little bit more obscure? For me, this is like... It's obscure enough that we don't have anything of it yet, but not too obscure that I definitely wanted it in my collection, or that I don't, it's not just, I'm not ambivalent, I wanted this one, this character. So that's how I feel, I like this kind of stuff. Okay, so let's talk about the aesthetic. The thing, I'm gonna start off right off the bat, the very best thing about this figure, the very best thing is that it's a matte finish. It's not glossy anywhere. I love that, it's not even shiny anywhere. At best, you could say kind of satin, but not really. It's pretty nice finish. I like it. It makes it look so much more collectible as opposed to a plasticky piece of garbage like Darwin. Okay, so that's a good thing. The line work, let's look at that. Some of it's really good. If you look at the chest area, that's pretty clean, especially going over the serratus muscles. That's all right. Then on the legs, it's a little less good. But it's not terrible, so that's okay. The colors match well enough throughout the various molded or painted blacks and reds. I believe... Well, maybe none of the red got painted. It actually looks like... Yeah, I think only some black got painted, so that explains why it looks pretty consistent. But they did a good job, I'll take that. This is a matte finish also, that's nice. This is... Everything's matte finish, it looks so good. Except for the flat metallic, semi-flat metallic right there, that looks nice. It's very nice looking in that regard. This body is mostly Vulcan. I believe the torso, the chest and abdominal section are new. And it looks good. I think it's actually a better looking body than on Vulcan, so that's good. Shoulders are still too small and weird looking compared to the upper arms. Some issues here and there. Okay, so let's get to the major problem that I have with this figure, because generally for Marvel Legends, that's a decent aesthetic. The paint job helps, it gives him a much more pronounced V shape to his torso, but still, for Marvel Legends, this Vulcan body and variations of it are pretty solid. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. He's got one of those weird Uncanny Valley, hyper-realistic but not realistic enough faces. With like blush on his cheeks and shading throughout, and it's technically a good paint job. The sculpt is a little strange, he's got like very tiny cheekbones and humongous jaw. But it's fine, whatever. I don't care about that. What I have a problem with is consistency. The design philosophy is just all over the place. You have this, which is not obviously like photorealistic, but that's pretty damn realistic looking. I mean, that's pretty realistic. And then you have things like this. His feet are shaped like Crocs. So it's like, pick one. Do you want it to look like a Pixar movie, or do you want it to look like a realistic version of a comic character? It's just strange. And to go with that, his head is huge compared to the rest of his body. Again. It's not terrible for Marvel Legends standards, because they usually do it pretty bad, but this, it's still too big. It's definitely too big, and a slightly smaller head would make this figure look a lot better. But overall, it's a pretty good release. It's a pretty good looking figure for Marvel Legends standards. So I'm going to give the aesthetic a 9 out of 10. I'm going to give him an extra point because the paint job is technically really good on the face. Sculpt is clean enough, good enough. And then it's a matte finish and it's on a pretty decent base body. So yeah, it gets the extra bump. All right. For accessories, we have 2 trigger finger hands, 2 fist hands. good enough spread there. I think we do get his solid gold gun, which could have used a little bit of paint or something, unless it, like, even just some line work or something to make it look less cheap, but whatever, it looks okay. And then you get his sword, which is good enough. Nothing special. That's all he really needs, I think, so I'm fine with that. 7 out of 10, 2 sets of hands and 2 accessories. That's fine with me. The sword does go in this little thingy right here, and it's okay. You saw that at the beginning of the video. All right, let's talk about the articulation. The head. Oh no, they're not using the double ball pegs again. They're just using the old school hinge, which looks so cheap and goofy. You can really tell how big his head is when it leans towards his body. It's really, really big. But the joint itself is functional enough. It's not as nuanced, it's not as versatile as a double ball peg, but it'll be fine. This doesn't pose, by the way, that just stays like that. Which is funny because this one's blowing this way and this one's just hanging flat. This should just be hanging flat, or make it posable, because it had to be a separate piece anyway, so just peg it in and let us rotate it around however we want. That would be nice. Butterfly joint doesn't seem to want to work. I'm guessing it's because they have that peg on the inside that keeps it from working. Brilliant. Shoulders work nice, better than horizontal, that's good. Bicep swivel is fine. Double jointed elbow will work no problem, and it is pinless. So if you like that, then you win. You get that. The glove does not rotate, but the wrists do. Vertical hinge on that hand, very nice. Vertical hinge on that hand. You know what? I'm taking credit for that. I bitched about it long enough, and then all of a sudden they started doing it. I think I'm taking credit. I probably don't deserve it, but I'm taking it. All right, for the ab crunch, it's one of the worst ones we've ever seen. It is laughably bad. For the biggest toy company in the world, Marvel Legends, one of the most well-known brands, most accessible brands. Look at that. Holy crap. I would have to actually try very hard to make something that ugly, that bad, and still technically functional. Because that's like, there's just no excuse for that. Why does it look like that? It's not quite, let's see. Yeah, you can stick his sword right into his torso. That's nuts. That is crazy to me. Not only is it flat here, but it's flat here too. What is with all the flat spots? It's totally not necessary. That's so ugly and weird and lazy. Waist twist is okay, belt is floaty, of course. He does kick to horizontal, so that is alright. Doesn't really go back too far. Going out to the side, not that great. It's okay, but it's not as far as it could go for no real reason. Thigh swivel is a thigh swivel. Double jointed knees. Not bad. They have good range, and the proportions aren't too bad. They're still off a little bit, but not too much, so that's good. I believe the legs are straight up the same thing as Vulcan. Boot swivel is there. It's not the best sculpt. I mean, the sculpt is okay technically, but they're not seamless at all. It's not as flush as it could be. Ankles do go all the way back and pretty far forward, and you get a decent ankle rocker on his Crocs. So yeah, articulation's fine. It's not anything special. It would be a little bit better if they did things like actually let the butterfly joint work, double ball peg for the head, easy things, you know, things that don't increase the budget. But it's okay, so I'll give the articulation a 7. There's nothing special about it. I guess you could say 8, but the butterfly doesn't work, so no, I'm sticking with 7. So, time for the final verdict on this release. For Marvel Legends standards, this one is a pretty strong release. It's a matte finish. The aesthetic is definitely the strongest thing for this figure. Accessories are acceptable, and then the articulation is acceptable. That's good enough. Is it worth what Marvel Legends cost nowadays? No, that's always going to be the case. They're always too expensive. But if you're buying Marvel Legends, this is one of the better ones you could get. So I'm going to give it a final rating of, for Marvel Legends, 9 out of 10. It is one of the better ones they've released. And there it is. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, a thumbs down will do. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.